Vanlife fam, welcome back to the channel. Today is episode 2 of 5 of my Vanlife in Scotland series. Let's go and have some Scottish adventures, shall we? Let's go!
We're hitting the road through some of Scotland's most stunning scenery, starting in the epic landscapes of Glencoe, heading past Inverness and exploring a few of the NC500 classics along the way. I did find some brand new gems and hidden highlights which I'd like to share with you along the east coast that you just don't want to miss. Scotland is truly a land of wild beauty, rugged mountains and dramatic coastlines. Today we're tracing a route from the heart of the Highlands out towards Loch Ness and through to Inverness. The windswept edges of this east coast make it so unforgettable, as this corner of the countryside is just truly beautiful. Today I'm starting off by heading over to Inverness via Loch Ness. This is a stunning drive. You've got mountains on one side and the huge deep loch on the other. So you snake round the loch and it takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to get up to Inverness. You start going over these sort of peninsula-like estuaries, which are land bridges and roads which take you from the mainland onto these external islands. But I did stop at this fantastic little RAF memoriam where it talks about the national servicemen that were lost during the Second World War. As my own grandfather was in the army and learnt to be an engineer, I always feel quite nostalgic and think of him in these places, and it really brings that sense of home to wherever I am. The East Coast is notoriously rich for wildlife. There are lots of porpoises to be seen here, and Cromarty Beach is sometimes the best place to go and view them. There is also seals and lots of different bird species, as well as migrating wildlife which comes here for the rich waters. And this one is particularly beautiful. It's a long winding sand beach which you can walk on at low tide, and you can also see it's really rich in geology here too. But if you're like me and you also enjoy just being outside, this is a stunning, quiet beach to walk on. I literally saw about 4 people in the whole 2 hours that I was here exploring. What I did find out is that actually this is an important historical site, and there was a famous ship here called the Nancy, which, as part of the Sutherland clearances of the 1800s, which are well documented, and there are scars upon the landscapes of most of these Highland places due to the Highland clearances, there was a famous ship that took some people over to New York. In fact, over 280 people. Unfortunately, 80 people perished on the journey due to unsanitary conditions. It's basically one of the first examples of human trafficking out of Scotland at a time where the people were desperate and wanted to leave due to famine and overtaxing and political changes in the Scottish landscape at the time. In the afternoon, I decided to head back inland towards Rogie Falls for another of the NC500's recommendations of cool things to see and do. There's been a bit of an investment since I last came here, and there's a beautiful suspension bridge now which allows you a gorgeous view over the 3-tiered waterfalls. Heading back in the car, I stopped at the Shin Viaduct next, which is a huge engineering feat, a beautiful iron cast bridge set over the river. The views here are really stunning, and I did notice that there was a wee castle on the hill here. So thinking and being nosy of who lived in there, I ended up Googling it, and it told me that after the Duke of Sutherland, who was the rich guy who was overtaxing the people here, there was a huge inheritance scandal. And it was all centred around this place. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do without Google. It's how I learn pretty much everything. Next up is the Falls of Shin. Known for their powerful cascades and leaping salmon, this really scenic spot is definitely one that you've got to visit on the NC500. It's surrounded by really peaceful woodland walks and an unmistakable little highland charm. The Atlantic salmon here can leap waterfalls of up to 3 metres, and on their journey upstream they can spawn, and their little babies are called fries, which I also didn't know until I visited the site. After a cup of tea to warm up again, I decided to take the drive further north and inland. But then I got my eye caught by some little blue plaque, and I was like, what is this? So this little side quest adventure is called Tory. It's a tiny spot in Scotland where you could easily drive past without even noticing. But following this little dirt track, it takes you to the blue plaque site, which marks the story of one of those little pieces of history that just makes you want to stop and think, well, who lived here before? So it's an ancient burial ground on the heathland at the very top, and they've turned one of the huts into an education centre. Of course, I didn't just read the sign and leave. I gave myself a proper side quest, got lost in the ferns, and decided to do 55 minutes just walking around this whole area with nothing, with no map, no plan, just me and a camera and the Scottish wind. But I tell you what, it was really good fun, and it was actually one of the highlights of my day. This is a beautiful little spot to have something to eat or just sit and enjoy the countryside. It was really peaceful up here. I think it's a really cool little spot, and one that I definitely wouldn't have found without taking a random turning off the main road. It just goes to show that so many other places in Scotland, there's so much to discover here. After a rather entertaining side quest, I decided to stop nearby and camp up for the night. Luckily, this is quite a remote area and it's all public access land, so they don't mind you sleeping in the car parks here with permission. So I decided to pitch up nearby and cook myself some scrumdiddlyumptious dinner, so come and dine with me.
Let's get cooking. So on Can Dine With Me tonight, we're having greens and salmon and couscous, and we're cooking all that on my Sterling Power induction hob. I run that off my little power bank unit, which is amazing, and it means that I don't have to spend a fortune on gas, and it just makes so much more sense. But because I don't want to drain my already depleting batteries, because I've had them for like 3 years, it would just fully juice them if I used it. So that's why I run it off a little power bank, which I just charge up when I'm driving. Boss. So we're going to put some spices in it. We've got some paprika, give it a bit of flavour, a bit of salt and pepper. A little bit of flavour. One thing I absolutely love about cooking in the van is that everything is so simple. Like, I used to be like a jar sauce girl where I just put some meat in a pan and put it with a jar of sauce, and that was my dinner done. But having like components to cook, so I've got one pan and one hob. So you've got to be clever about what you cook, and it's just washing up as well. So like multiple pots, multiple dishes, multiple elements. I think that's what the chefs call it, elements to your dinner, components. But yeah, I'm all about the simple living, simple life. Suits me down to a T.
I did have a dinner guest this evening, which was really sweet. I was just sat eating my dinner, and by the time that I grabbed my phone, all I could get was one single picture of this beautiful stag in the distance. It's also a full moon tonight, so it was quite eerie out in the landscape. I just thought it was really spooky. Loved it, absolutely loved it. I don't get that scared sleeping out on my own anymore, as I've been living in the van for like 3 years. So for me, I actually enjoy the solitude and being out on my own in nature and just listening to the sounds. I never feel scared out in the remote wild. I always feel more scared if I'm camping in the cities. I took the road north to head towards Dornoch Beach. As you can see, most of the inland here is very agricultural. It's also quite remote, and there's not a lot of houses or infrastructure in terms of like shops, and quite remote area where you can see horses and lots of beautiful wildlife.
Today has been absolutely incredible. I've loved it. One thing I've noticed is since the NC 500 that I did last time, because I came up here in like 2018 in the old van, but you have to pay for all the car parks, and it's took me by surprise because I've literally got no change. So I'm turning up to places and like turning out my pockets, being like, oh man, I haven't got anything. So that would be my only word of warning. If you're going to do an NC 500 route, make sure that you've got a whole roll of dimes like Frank Sinatra. Keep it in your van. But yeah, it's beautiful, and if anything, I think the roads are better like since I've been up here last time, especially on that east coast. But the winds today have been brutal. It's been really cold, really wet, really rainy, but it's been stunning. Like the landscape and the rainbows and just, yeah, if you're going to be anywhere and it's absolutely chucking it down with sideways rain, it's got to be Scotland. It's still beautiful. It's time to get warm, put the night heater on because it is chilly, like the wind chill's taking it right down. Close all the doors and lock everything. I think tidy away and get to bed.
Join me next Sunday for episode 3, where I'll be further adventuring along the NC500, as well as then checking out some of the local beaches, tourist attractions, and even having a go at some surfing. So feel free to check in, subscribe, and I also have a new Patreon if you would like to join up today. Take it easy, guys. See you next week.